Everyone. Just a sir, 2 minutes, we are going live so that students can again see if they want to, anyone has missed. Yes, a very good morning to one and all. I, Abhimanyu Maheshwari, welcome you all on the behalf of Bajaj College of Science for this guidance session for job placements, which is organized by the Training and Placement Cell of the Bajaj College of Science, Varda. Firstly, I extend my heartiest regards and warm welcome to all the honorable dignitaries. Shri Sanjay Bhargav ji, who is chairman of Shiksha Mandal, Vardha, Dr. Om Mahodaya, principal Shri Bajaj College of Science, Vardha, and the distinguished speakers for today's session, Shri Stephen Dinakaran, who is academic interface program head, human resource in the TCS Limited Chennai, and also our co-convener, Dr. Chandrakar Madam, and all the faculty members and all my dear participants. We appreciate all the participants for joining with us for this session. The aim for organizing this guidance session for job placement is to prepare you, means Stephen sir will guide you for the NQT test, which is scheduled on 26th, okay, and how well you can perform this. So I hope this session will benefit you, the students. So with this, I introduce our guest speaker, Steve Dinakaran, sir. He has already
had a talk with
us in the previous session, and he has guided our students first also. So I don't suppose that he is new to our session, but I will tell that he's
now he is a family member of our
yes,
college.
he is a family member, and he is working as an academic interface program human resources at Tata Consultancy Services Limited, Chennai and Tamil Nadu. So with this, I invite our guest speaker, Dr. Steve Dinakaran, sir, to sharing his knowledge and expertise for job placements. Sir, you can start.
Thank you very much, Professor Maheshwari. Thank you for your kind words. And I hope the students must have also heard our conversations that I had with the chairman sir and your dear Professor Dr. Saudakar sir as well.
Yes,
so we will get directly into our conversations. But yeah, it always feels nice to connect back with all of you, right? It's been a little more than a month we connected, if not, right? If my memory goes,
yes,
right?
Sir.
So we've connected, and I hope you're all doing well and all preparing yourselves for the national qualifier test. And yes, as you rightly said, as sir had rightly said, that we are going to have a session basically to be prepared for the national qualifier test. Not only national qualifier test, it could be a preparation for you as a applicant, as a fresher, for any job opportunities which could be prevalent or you may be applying for. So that's going to be our interaction and session today. I am specifically saying interaction because I want you to speak, or I want you to converse with me. I know there are close to 147 of you all on the platform, or the meeting platform here. So it may not be practically possible that all 147 of us speak, and it becomes a chaos. So what we can probably do is we can make the best use of the chat, right? So I hope you're all are familiar with the chat in Zoom. If you're not, if you go down at the base of your screen, from the left, first icon is your mute, your speaker button, and then is a video button. Then comes the security, then the number of participants, followed by which there is a chat icon. Okay, so what you can do is click on the chat icon and choose everyone, and then you can say hi. Okay, I've just typed hi. Good morning, dear friends. Okay, so that's what I put in down here. Wow, that's nice. Super. You are all smart, quick to learn, and you're very much familiar with this, right? So I could see a lot of highs messages coming across from here. So that's really nice. Very good. Very good. Very good. Okay. My next question to you will be is, since we're meeting after a very long time. So how are you all? How are you feeling? Can I see some response? Fine. Okay. All right. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Absolutely fine. Yeah. You don't have to call me sir. All right. You can call me Steve or Stephen. All right. You can call me either by my name, right? I remember saying this, or Stephen. I would prefer you to address me as Steve or Stephen. All right. Yeah. So I also feel, young, energetic, just like how you are. So it makes me feel nice when, yeah, superb. That's nice, Akansha. So you can call me by my name. And this is how we address each other in the organization. We do respect our seniors, but our culture is that we talk to uh, our fellow colleagues, our fellow associates, we call by our names. Very rare occasions we use sir, but predominantly we speak addressing by the first name or the name a person is more familiar with, or you feel fond of addressing that person as. Excellent, excellent. So I'm going to touch upon a lot of things which we spoke a couple of months back, close to a couple of months back. And I'm going to ask you, or I'm going to journey along with you, or I'm going to invite you to journey along with me while I try to give you more insights on today's session. Okay. But before that, okay, glad I could see a lot of you responding. So very good morning. Thank you very much for your responses, and immediately, listening to what I'm saying, and quickly responding back in the manner that I've requested for. So we are going to have a 45 minutes interaction. Okay, remember this. We're going to have an interaction. So our interaction is going to be how we're going to use the chat window here, and we're going to converse. Fine. Can I see some thumbs ups? There is a reaction button. Okay, so you can put a thumbs up here. Okay, or there's an emoticon here as well. You can use emoticon. Wow, you guys are pretty smart. I'm not smart in this emoticons. So you have put thumbs up. Excellent, excellent. So thumbs ups. Yeah, that's nice. Superb, superb. Very nice, very nice. Okay. So this way, what we're going to do is we are going to interact, right? Steve gets to know I'm talking to the students of, your college, Bajaj College of Science, Varda. And you also get to know that I'm observing and looking at the chat window and know that, we are interacting with each other, right? So this is going to be our mode of conversation. I hope we're all in agreement to that. I'm going to put a thumbs up like this because I'm going to talk more. So typing would distract me. So I'm going to put a thumbs up like this so that you could see my video screen. Okay, great. Thank you very much. So now it's 10:27, right? So now I wanted to ask you, what is that you are expecting from today's session? You can unmute and speak if you would want to. You can speak in Hindi. I'm perfectly fine. But I may need someone to translate it because I'm not too familiar with the language. I probably will start learning as I start interacting with you all. All right. So spare me at least a year's time. So next time when I'm going to come and interact with your juniors or talk to you, I'll probably, pick up few proper, sentences that I can speak. Okay. About job placements, guidelines for exams and interview. Absolutely. Yes. Then what else? Points to interact with the HR. Absolutely right, Mahesh. You're right. Very good. I like that. I hope there are 155 of you on the, including me and your professors. I hope you all are able to read the chat, right? So this message that your classmates, your friends have put down there are again for the benefit of you, so that you would also know what kind of questions that are being asked. And this is going to help you in terms of understanding or following to what is being said, right? Okay. Any more tries? Okay, tell us how can we do our best? Wow. Okay. More knowledge about jobs and interviews. Okay. Right. Okay. So shall we start with the test last, and we'll talk about the preparedness for the interview now, kind of facility provided by TCS during the job. Okay, good. Okay, right. All right. Really true that we learn in BSc and MSc is not necessary in the job. No, it can definitely be relevant, Vikrant. What you study makes a lot of impact at your job as well. Right? Very good question was that. Okay, great. Fine. So now let us get into this. I'm not going to show too much of slides, and I'm going to bore you with that. Let me ask you, if you are to hire someone for your organization, what would you look out in that person? First and foremost thing. Can I see some responses? Now, you're all going to be interviewed, right? So now I want you to move your mind, your imagination, everything towards the other side. Now, if you are going to be the interviewer, maybe for your own organization, right? Now you start thinking like an interviewer. Tell me, what will be the first thing that you would want to look out? Skill which is necessary, all right. Good, Vikrant. The first important thing that you'd want to look at. Confidence level, okay. Absolutely. Someone said basic knowledge about the company. What will be, I'm sorry, wait. You're asking, Mahesh, you're asking basic knowledge about company, what it will be, or you're saying that it will be like that? Okay, great. You guys are thinking well ahead of time, well ahead of a lot of things. Aarti says smart work as well as hard work with skills. But in an interview, how would you find that out? It's very difficult, isn't it? Correspondence PG, so it is beneficial to do PG while working in TCS. Shivam and my dear friends, let's focus on this particular one thing now at this point in time. Keep all the other questions aside, okay? Be focused on this for the next 5 minutes, okay? 5 minutes, I want you to think. You're going to be interviewed, right? Sometime soon. Now, you think of yourself as an interviewer. If you were to interview someone, what is that you will look out for? So that is a question that I've asked, and I want you to focus on that. Okay, so that is what I want you to think. First thing is communication, okay? Okay, communication. What will be the next that you will look out for in that person? Basic knowledge about that particular field, all right? Anything before that? Okay, you have to prove. Yes, you will be given opportunities to prove through that. But what will be the first thing that will come to your mind? Which skill? Okay, that's nice. Honest about work and company, handle work pressure, ability. All of it is right. But there is very one important thing that anyone who would want to hire a person, if you are to hire or I have to hire, I would want to know, or I would be eager to know how much this particular person knows about my organization. Correct? If I'm applying for a job in an ABC company, I would want to know a lot about that particular company, isn't it? So remember, my dear friends, any interview that you go for, the first preparedness is please know about that organization. Very, very important. Yeah, those are things that will come back. Skills, accomplishment, objectives, the needs of the company, Sahana, all that will come next. But the first thing is that I may want to know, what do you know about this organization? You have decided to apply, right? You have decided to appear for an interview. So the first thing that is looked at is, what do you know about this organization? Because you may not know many things other than this. If you look at TCS as an organization, it's there in the internet. You could talk about the quarter that went by. What happened in this quarter? Any specific information that you want to share that you read about TCS's performance the last quarter? These are inputs and insights any interviewer will really get excited about, right? And remember, my dear friends, we are not in a face-to-face interview here. You would be interviewed like this, like how I'm on a video call like with you. You would be on a one-on-one video call with the interviewer. So let me go back to our first conversation that we had. I mentioned about 3 A's, right? Awareness. Second is articulation, that is nothing but communication or presentation. That's the second A. The third A is amplification or amplifying. Awareness, articulation, and amplification. The 3 A's, if you recall. So now, are we meeting the first criteria of awareness about the organization? It can be TCS or it can be any other organization as well. So that is the first day. I know, okay, now I know about this organization. But do I know, or am I good in putting it across? This is a straightforward, preparation, isn't it? I need to put it across. So if I have to put it across, how do I put it across? I'll have to articulate, I'll have to communicate, speak, or I'll have to present myself, isn't it? That's when the other person, the interviewer, would understand. You also mentioned basics are communication, basic communication skills, right? That's what you mentioned. Some of you mentioned if you go through the chat, right? So getting to that part of it, some of you are very natural communicators. You ask a question, you would respond immediately. You will be able to speak. But not all of you are good at communication, right? Not all of us are prepared, or we are spontaneous and we can speak. So what should I do if I have to be a person who has to be a better communicator? So which means I may have to write down, make notes, and keep running through it. So that what happens, you are preparing, like how you are preparing for your exams. You make notes, you write down, in case you forget, you write it down 2-3 times. What happens? Yes, I know, I now have written it. So what happens? I will be able to recall, right? Somewhere you type and keep that particular name or that particular definition. We all do that, right? In the day in, day out of our daily life. Any important, we tend to forget. We make a note somewhere, isn't it? For example, you have multiple passwords. You make a note of it somewhere and keep it safely. You recall, but just at least to remember, you keep it safe somewhere, isn't it? So what typically happens here is, this is going to be one way whereby you are preparing yourself, your presentation, or how you are going to communicate. All right. So first, what did we speak about? What do I know? That's the awareness part, correct? First A. The second A is about articulation, we spoke, isn't it? That's nothing but how well am I prepared for this interview? So I know about TCS. I made notes about it, looked into the website, looked into the media, latest news on TCS. I made a note of it and I'm going to keep it ready with me. Coming back, that's the first part anybody would want, because that builds that confidence in the interviewer. Yeah, this person is really prepared. I may want to be more interested in knowing this person, right? Any friendship, if you look at, also works in a similar pattern, right? If you like a person, what do? You try to get all information about that person and keep it. So when you're speaking to that person, you try to communicate. For example, let me take, you are all, most of you all would know about cricket, isn't it? So recently there was a movie about Kapil Dev which came out. If you had an opportunity to talk to Kapil Dev, it's a golden opportunity, and you just have 5 minutes to talk to him. Won't you not prepare yourself? Won't you not prepare yourself for the meeting? So tell me, what are the things that you will prepare? If you're going to have an opportunity to meet Kapil Dev, I don't know the name of the movie, but there were a lot of, this thing that came up about the premiere and preview about the movie, right? I thought it was World Cup, is it? Is that the name of the movie?
83, sir.
It is 83.
83, okay, wow. So, correct. So I'm sure 83 you may not all be able to relate to it, isn't it? No, you will not be able to relate to it. So let's go a little further down the side. If you all have to meet Shah Rukh Khan, I know you must all know about Shah Rukh Khan, isn't it? If you have to meet him and you only have 5 minutes window, right? What are the thoughts that goes in your mind? What all you would want to do? I want you to have the same thinking while you are preparing for your interview process. It could be TCS, it could be any other organization. You would want to know about that person a lot. What is the latest about him? So that you can ask him specific questions, right? With Shah Rukh Khan, right? So you may want to ask about probably the latest controversy that happened about his son, right? Very sensitive, but you may be very curious to know, right? How is Arya Khan, and I don't remember his name really well. So you may want to know what is he doing, how is he, how are you able to handle it? Some of you may say, how are you able to be fit and very charismatic, right? A lot of things can go in each of your minds, isn't it? How are you able to be very peppy, whatever it is, right? So that is the kind of preparedness you should also have when it comes in for an interview, right? So from an interview perspective, if Shah Rukh Khan has to address and he's going to have a one-on-one interview with you, and you're going to be the interviewer, so what he will do, he'll start thinking, what will my interviewer think, right? What are the kind of questions he may ask? So let me prepare myself, isn't it? Correct. So placing yourself in two shoes, you being the interviewer and you playing the interviewee, correct? So you keep toggling between these two, you will get a list of things to do and things not to do. Now let us get to the things that you may have to So one, you will know about the organization. Then second, you will talk to some senior, some friend of yours who is already working in that organization. Go search for previous interviews, feedbacks mentioned by students or your seniors. It could be in your college website. It could be in your college Yahoo group. I'm sorry, your Facebook group, or you can directly call someone and ask them as well. Or what you may do is you may ask your training and placement head, right? So these are few things that you will look at, isn't it? Yeah, Chetan, good. Your thoughts are. You can put it on the everyone, right? That will be better. Must know about the job profile details, key roles. Yes, big words that you're using. Very good. I think those are very, very critical. Choose the everyone option in the chat, Chetan, and there you put it. Yes, very good. Thank you. So the first thing is all about preparedness. What are the things that I should look out for? Like I said, if you were to interview that person, won't you not want him or her to know about the company you're going to hire him for? Isn't it? Right? The next thing is the ball would roll on to the interviewer's court. Okay, you're the person who's going to interview, right? So what would you think will be the next? Like, you may start wanting to know what this person has a knowledge about, isn't it? If you were to be an interviewer, yeah, job profile, key roles, all of that. As a fresh graduate, any interviewer may not expect too much. If you're an experienced person, then there's every possibility that we expect you to know about it. But being a fresh graduate without any experience, and we're going to hire you as a fresh grad, right? Any organization who wants to hire you as a fresh grad, it's a responsibility of the organization to share what kind of jobs that you will be put in. You will not have to know a lot about it. Good to know. You can talk to your seniors, find out, but not necessarily you have to know all that. But yes, one of your batchmates asked, my BSc, my MSc, graduation, qualification, will it be useful in my job? Yes. How? Every interviewer would probably want to understand how much you have understood about your subjects that you've studied. Here, you could be science graduate, you could be a commerce graduate, you can also be an arts graduate here. Science, which means physics, chemistry, maths, biology, computer science, or commerce would be BCom, BBA, BBA stream. BA arts would be history. Then there is archaeology, right? Literature, English literature, right? There could be various streams, isn't it? So you could be part of any of these streams. So what typically would run in the mind of a interviewer is probably, if you were to study statistics, he would ask you a question saying, what is the difference between mean, median, and mode? Next level of him asking you would be is, can you give me some examples? So what an interviewer is trying to assess during this conversation is that how much did this particular person understand what he had studied? You know why? You are going to have similar scenarios at office also, office environment. So a college environment, the only difference is classrooms, your professor who's teaching. In a office environment, it could be your senior, or it could be someone who is handling the training session, who would be training you, who would be giving you materials for you to study, and who would be taking you through some practical sessions as to learn that particular skill, that particular job role, and would tell you what you are expected to do, key roles and responsibilities. Like what Chetan rightly said, what is my profile all about? Which means, what am I going to do? What am I expected to do? Right? So the person who's interviewing you, if let's assume it is, I'm just taking some name here, Ankita is the interviewer. So Ankita is going to interview Akanksha, right? Ankita would look out for, what does Akanksha know? Does she understand what she has studied? If she has understood, Ankita would go to the next step of giving her a situation. What will you do in this particular situation? This is exactly how an interview process is conducted. I hope you're all traveling along with me while I'm giving you insights. I'm going to give you multiple insights. So this is one particular situation or scenario. The second scenario would be, the interviewer may not even ask you direct question. He or she may ask you, what will you do in this situation? For example, there is a fire alarm. You know, corporate offices have fire alarms, right? There is a fire alarm that goes on. They may ask you, what are the top 5 things that you would do? Step by step. Right? This is basically not to say that I don't know, or I don't know what will happen, but at least you start thinking. They are assessing your thinking capacity here at this point in time. You do the step 1, step 2, step 3, or you go from step 1 to step 4 and then come to step 2 and then step 3, and then you go to step 5 and then go to back to step 1. How is your thinking process? Is it aligned? Is it systematic? Or is it disarrayed? Is it going back and forth? So one is subject related, whatever subject that you have studied, the basics you'd be asked. The second is a practical scenario and how you would address, how you would handle the situation. And in most interviews, if you'd have seen, they'd ask you, what is your strength? What is your weakness? Strength, we'll make a big list. Weakness, when we say what happens, everybody gets scared. Isn't it? So I don't ask a question saying, can you let me know your weakness? I rather put it across, we all have our own weaknesses. We all have our inabilities. But I put it in a very positive way. Can you share your areas for improvement? Strengths, I can always say, I'm good in communication, I'm good in working with teams, I'm good at handling this particular job, I'm very good at HR, I'm good in handling recruitment, I can do a lot of training sessions, I can do online sessions, like I can say a big list. Right? When it comes to weakness, right, exposing it to someone, we always shy away, isn't it? But here, the intention of the interviewer is not that he wants to put you down. The intention of the interviewer is basically to know how much do you know about yourself and what kind of a support that can be provided to you so that you can make that also a strength. So I normally ask anybody, can you share some areas for improvement in yourself? So it is very, very important that you also say about your areas for improvement, otherwise called as weakness. It could be subject related. It could be something to do with the skill that you want to work on. It can be anything. While saying that, the next question that follows always in an interview is, how do you think you can improve yourself on those areas that are weaknesses? So now, going back to the first step, preparedness, isn't it? I'm aware and I also need to prepare myself. So please write it down if in case you are not prepared. My suggestion will be is, please write it down. Please make a note, take a piece of notebook, keep writing down. Really helps you in a lot, many ways, because you don't know who the interviewer is. And secondly, the interview is happening in an online mode like this. There could be possibilities of internet disconnections. There could be every possibility of sometimes the interviewer is not able to hear you, right? There could be a lot of reasons, right? You can, in such situations, what you can do, you can use the chat window to quickly type. You can, whatever you've written, you can quickly type instead of, some people take time to frame sentences. So these things will come handy to you. Your thoughts, putting it into words and writing it down is a practice that you're giving your brain to present yourself, to align your thoughts in a specific manner. You write it down. No, step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like what I said, what will you do in a fire alarm? You read it once. You may think, no, this point, the first point should be the third point. And then what happens? You will think the second point should be the first point. So what happens? Your brain starts working after you start reading, right? Is it following a flow? This is a practice that you can give yourself. So make notes and start making notes at this point in time. Choose your favorite subject that you are good at. and prepare on that subject. Have a definition handy, examples to support that definition when you're explaining. Someone says, can you explain that particular term? You can't read it out, right? You can't just, whatever you mugged up, you say. Okay, fine, you said the definition. Can you give me an example as to how this definition works in this particular area? So that will be the next question that comes. So for which you have to definitely have an example at hand. Unless you write it down, you will not be able to present that. So start cultivating the habit of making notes. Ask a question yourself and answer. And read it. While you read it, you will know whether it is you've answered it right or you have not. In case you are not able to find out, show to someone who can read it and share their knowledge or advise you. This could be a better way of putting that. Don't ask them to write it for you. You should write it. Only when you write is when your mind is able to process it and you will be able to say about it. When someone else writes it and gives it to you, you mug it up or you try to present it, it loses its originality. It loses you actually speaking that. Unless you're a great actor. Actors, actresses, they have scripts written and given to them, right? So they practice it and then they enact it as a character as such. Only they can do it. If you're good at it, well, you could. If not, then try to personalize it in the way that you would present it. Okay. Now we've covered awareness of the subjects, your strengths, areas for improvements, and how you would want to improve on that. Think about something or talk to someone. This is my area that I have to improve myself on. What should I do? Talk to your friends, talk to your seniors. Talk to someone whom you look up to who's working, could be in your family, or talk to your professor. Or internet is pretty open. You can always Google and pick that which you feel that you should follow. And share it during the interview. These are the impressions someone mentioned about how am I going to impress at the interview, right? The question we were put in the chat box. If you scroll up and see, you will know, right? So you will impress the person who's interviewing you. Wow, this person is really prepared. So preparedness for an interview is very important and very critical. As I said, that covers your first A, awareness, and the second A, articulation, the presentation. The first A and the second A is covered. You want to further impress this person. Some people ask questions. Have you published anything? Have you, have you done a project? Have you won any, or someone mentioned accomplishments. Have you accomplished anything? Have you won any awards? Have you got any certificates? So the amplification part comes there. You participating in various cultural programs, or you participating in a lot of these competitions. You can talk about that. That could be your third A, amplification. I'm not going to get too much into the detail of amplification part, because if you are able to cover the first A and the second A, awareness and articulation part, the rest is the person is almost completely impressed, because you've answered what is expected. So the third A, amplifying, or the stronger decision that you're compelling the interviewer to take is by saying, I've also presented this as a project in certain so and so place. I've been awarded the best project for this particular thing that I did. So the interviewer will start asking, oh, really? That's really nice. How did you do it? Right? So an interview is not a question and answer. If you'd ask me, or if you look at the way I'm talking to you, do you feel I've been asking you questions? I would say no. It is an interaction, which I remember, which I told you in the beginning, or in simpler term, I can call it conversation. You and I are having a conversation. That is exactly what you are going to have with your interviewer, right? You are going to have a conversation. So if there is going to be a conversation, which means your interviewer speaks, you answer, and you can also say something, or you can ask the interviewer a specific question, and he or she may answer. So preparing notes is the second, so that you present. So we've covered that part. I'm getting into the even more finer details. The next possible thing that you may want to be prepared or aware of could be questions that you would want to ask the interviewer. Like Chetan said, job profile. These are questions that you can ask the interviewer. What will be my role in that particular job profile? How many hours would I have to work? Like you asked, will I be allowed to study and also work? Job profile, I will leave it aside. I'll come back to separately. If it is TCS specific, I can give you some insights. But again, a very, very broader perspective is what I'm going to tell you. So the other point that I wanted to share is your education part. Can I continue with my education? Every organization would say, yes, we would encourage you to continue your studies. But yes, you may not be able to do a regular course. You may have to do it as a part-time or a distance education, correspondence, because you have to work and study, right? You have to balance between the two. So this probably would be the response that you will get during that time. About the job profile, like some of you asked, right? For a fresh graduate who's joining a corporate environment, there is always going to be training being given. So any job that you'd be assigned, any role or task that you'll be asked to do, you'll be first trained on it before you would be directly getting onto the job. So if it is about banking, they will train you on that banking concepts. If it is about analytics and insights, if you're from a statistics or economics background or a mathematics background, and you've fared really well in the interview, Then they would train you on the basics in analytics that would be for the particular job that you're supposed to do. It is simple like this. For you to get your driver's license, it could be a two-wheeler or it could be a four-wheeler. You go for training, isn't it? You get to coach. Someone coaches you, right? Similarly, you will have trainers, coaches, or your supervisors or your seniors in the organization who will be training you. And yes, they will also have an assessment. For you to get a license, you go through a test, right? Similar, they will have assessments. You clear the assessments and they say, yes, this person is fit for him or her to do this particular role. If not, you again get yourself further trained, practice, and then go on. So it's not something very scary. Oh, what is it going to be? It is just going to be a similar scenario what you have done during your college days or school days, but slightly on the professional side. You may not be given everything saying you have to go here, do this, do that. They would only just give you one complete manual. They'll say, read it and follow. Just follow what it said. You may not have too much of handheld guidance. They will not keep coming and checking whether you've done it. Have you studied? Have you understood or not? They would expect that you understand. If not, you have to ask and clarify. Take help from people that you're able to learn what is being taught or trained faster. So coming back, another important aspect, any organization, when they look at while interviewing, is they will look out, are you open to learning new things? Because in a work environment, everything is going to be new. No, if you say, I'm not interested in that, I wouldn't want to do this, I wouldn't want to do that, then which means it is very difficult for that particular person to be hired, recruited. You tell me, if you were to interview someone, now let's take another person. Prajwal is here. Prajwal has to interview Santoshi. Santoshi says, Prajwal, don't ask me questions on this particular place. I don't know. And I don't want to learn that. What will Prajwal think? Prajwal will say, oh, this person may not suit my team because this person is not open-minded. So let me immediately reject this person. Let me not hire this person. That will be the first thought that will come into my mind. Rather, if Santoshi says, I don't know, yet I'm interested in learning. If you know some information about that particular area, Santoshi can say, I know something like this. Is this what you're referring to? So what Prajwal will feel is, yeah. Yes, Santoshi seems to be interested, though she does not know. She seems to be interested. I should hire this person. Don't you think, Prajwal, you would do that? Prajwal Bhavne?
Yes, sir.
I'm just mentioning your name.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I was just giving an example.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Name. And won't you not hire Santoshi if that is the response?
Yes.
Correct, right? You will be interested, right? If Santoshi
Yes,
says,
sir. I am
Yes, sir.
interested, sir.
Sir, I'm
you got
interested.
it, right? So Santoshi, you will feel nice, right? You'll feel good. Oh, wow,
Yes, sir.
I've impressed Prajwal. The Prajwal will hire me, recruit me. Isn't it? Another very important point that I want you to be aware is, even me, I have 24 plus years of experience, 20 plus in human resources alone. Close to 22 years is what I should say in HR. I do not know everything. So please take that mind or thought in yourself that I should know everything. Very important. Please take that thought of your mind that I should know everything. I can know some. I may not know everything, isn't it? If we know everything, we are a supercomputer, is what I'd say. We should probably be called as Googles, isn't it? So, relevant to what you studied and the industry that it'll relate to, or the job that it can relate to, those are informations that you may know. You may have to know. But even there, it is not that an interviewer would want to or expects you to know everything. So please do not feel shy or feel scared, start sweating and getting afraid, thinking, I don't know this answer. I'll try to give some other answer. Please tell very politely to the interviewer, sir, ma'am, I do not know this particular thing. They may ask you the same question in a different manner so that you're able to understand. Or you can say, can you repeat that question in case you're not able to follow? Now I'm going to introduce a technique. Okay, these are all acronyms. Please make a note. It helps you. This technique is called the Slusa Technique. S, L, U, S, and A. I want to write down here. I put it on the chat. When a question is asked, or an interviewer wants to know something about it, do not be in a rush always to respond. So what you're supposed to do? Rajwal, can you just mute yourself? Yeah, thank you. So what typically you may have to do here is, the first S is stop. And then you stop yourself. Then the second L is listen. Listen to what is being asked. In case you have not understood, politely ask the interviewer to repeat the question. And the next is understand. Okay, understand. If you're still not able to understand, please ask the interviewer. It's fine, because we are in an online mode. You should know. If you're not able to understand, ask the interviewer to repeat it. And then what you do is soothe. This soothe is soothing yourself, which means calming yourself down. Soothe. Calm yourself down. Don't get excited. No. I know the answer. I do not know. Yes, I know the answer. Let me be in a rush. No. Just calm down. Take a minute. Take a 5-second, 10-second break. Calm yourself. Maybe you want to do a breather exercise. Breathe in, breathe out. It's fine. If you're good at, good. If you don't, just be calm. Okay. Just think, soothing yourself, calming yourself. And then the last A is answer or respond. you practice this Slusa technique, it can help you in many, many ways. Not only in an interview, it can be in any situation that you are handling in life, or at a job environment, or talking to someone. This will help you to organize your thoughts. You can always, don't feel shy. Can I note this question down, and I'll please write it down, and then I'll share. The interviewer would be really happy, think that, yeah, this person is taking efforts to communicate. Use this technique, Slusa. Stop. As soon as you hear something, do not rush. Just pause it, stop that place. Listen to it very clearly. Understand what is being said. Then calm yourself down. When you're in a calm state, that's when you're very confident. When you're in a hurry, when you're in an anxious state, you could be right, you could be wrong as well. Isn't it? That's what the soothing is all about. And then what you do is you answer. Follow these 5 steps, and you will be able to handle any query, any interview. So this is some preparation that you can do for yourself before you speak or respond during an interview for a specific question. As I said, there's nobody who has answers for all the questions. Please admit if you don't know. Say, I don't know. And let the interviewer ask you something else. But take the effort to sincerely try if you do know. If you don't, please don't say anything. You can just tell them, I'm sorry, I have not studied this, or I'm not aware of this particular thing. If you want me, I can probably go read about it and come back to you. Perfectly fine. Any interviewer will respect that, right? As you rightly said, communication. First is awareness. Me putting my thoughts across is what communication is all about. That is what I said, articulation, right? So communication does not need a person who has to speak phenomenal or great English. These days, Shashi Tharoor is a person, they say, who speaks too high a standard English, but nobody can understand. Or the Shakespeare, Elizabethan or Victorian era English. No. If you are able to communicate, form simple sentences, frame simple sentences, that is more than enough. So going back to preparing notes helps you to frame sentences, because you've written, you'd be able to recall and you'll be able to speak. You can always take it while you're talking to them and just have a glance of it, and you can read it and tell them, because it's your own communication, isn't it? A lot of people have learned to communicate by writing first. Not many are good in speaking. Many may be very good in writing than speaking. So you could be one of them, or you could do both. Find out which is the one that you're able to. So if you're not good in directly speaking, write it down and then read it. You always tell the interviewer, I am not very good in communicating. Can I write it down and then say it? Interviewer would feel really happy about it, right? So these are few tips that you may want to be aware of while preparing for an interview. All right. So now I'm going to show you a few things which you should know about. Yeah. I've just pasted the Nagpur TCS website. That's a YouTube. I've just pasted in the chat. Copy it and store it somewhere. Go through that YouTube after the session. You will get to know how this particular TCS Mehan Nagpur facility is. We've recently we've touched 7,500 employees in Nagpur. Last time when we spoke, I spoke to you saying we're 6,000 employees. Now we're 7,500 employees as of a couple of days back. Last Wednesday, we touched 7,500 employees. We have another 2,500 seats available. Plus, we are planning to build another 16,000 seater capacity in the same premises in Mehan, Nagpur, which means there's a huge growth opportunity and potential for Nagpur TCS alone. All right. So that's about the TCS facility. Okay. Now I'm going to put another very important information about the national qualifier test. I'm sure you are all registered for the national qualifier test, which is scheduled on 26th, right? I hope you must have received the dates. If not, please check your emails, your registered email ID which you have used. Please check that email. You will get to know the details mentioned there. As I was mentioning to your professor, since we are moving into a pandemic, we are in a pandemic situation, and we don't have dedicated campus interviews. The only way that you can learn, the only way that you will be able to follow what is being said is tracking your emails to the mail ID which you have registered for the NQT. You would have got a DT number, right? Your mobile will give you alert saying messages on certain specific information, and your email ID, the registered mail ID which you're using, will provide you a lot of information of the NQT test, National Qualifier Test. In fact, you may also be invited to do a mock test, and they will also tell you what are the things that you have to prepare while you are getting yourself ready for the National Qualifier Test. What are the things that you need to download in your laptop or desktop so that you're prepared to do the NQT test. All right. So please follow those emails. In case mails have reached your spam mails, move them back to your main inbox, because they are all system automated mails, generated emails. Gmail or the Google Mail that you may be using do not recognize those mails. They immediately move them to spam mails. So you have to move it back to inbox so that the upcoming mails come to your inbox and doesn't go to the spam mail. However, I would request you to keep checking your spam mails every day as well. Do not delete or clear your spam mails. Very, very important. If you do not, then there's every possibility that communication comes to you. In case you're not able to understand what is being said, you can show it to your professor or your seniors who will be able to explain what is being said, and you can prepare for the national qualifier test. So as I mentioned, national qualifier test, I've just pasted it on the chat window. It's a 40 minutes test. It has 40 questions. And I've also given you what kind of questions are going to be there in that. Right? So 40 questions, and there will be 4 sections. There will be a section on analytical thinking. There will be a section on numerical ability. Numerical ability is all about your statistics, simple mathematics, series of numbers. These are the things that they will ask. Analytical thinking is you will be asked a question. What will be the probable response to a specific scenario or a situation? How well are you able to think? Reasoning is all about, it could be definitions, or it can be a scenario being said. If A and B are brothers and sisters, and their age is this, and their age is one's age is 10, the other's age is 5, and C was born after B was born, and it was 3 years. So what is the age of C? Something like that they may ask you. So quick information from what you have, and then you can choose. There could be 4 or 5 choices as objective type questions. You can choose among the 4 or 5 questions, and you can choose the right answer. Since it is 40 minutes, 40 questions, do not take too much of time, not more than 1 minute to answer a question. And please do not neglect or leave out any question. Answer all questions. There are no negative markings, but each section has a qualifying cutoff. So you should have scored a specific percentage in each section, all the 4 sections. So do not leave any section. Answer all the questions. Think and answer. Do not take more than 60 seconds for each question. I would rather say 40-45 seconds you should answer the question, so that you keep that 20-second buffer for each question, so that you missed out on any question, you can go back and flag it up, and you can go and address those questions and respond to them. So in case you're not able to answer that question, you have a doubt, flag it up. All instructions will be given well in advance, so you will have the time to read through it. So what you need to do is read, understand multiple times, because unless you know how to handle that NQT test, will you be able to crack the questions. In case you understood it wrongly, then you will fail the test. That's why there is a mock test being also given to you. Once you clear the interview process, there will be 3 rounds, the test selection. There will be 3 rounds of interview: HR interview, technical interview, and management interview. HR interview, you apply whatever I spoke to you about, how to prepare for an interview. Awareness, articulation. These are 2 things that they will look at for. Third thing is something which you want, you can share. But the first 2 things are very, very important. I gave you a lot of scenarios, right, as to how you may want to prepare yourself for the interview process. Those are the kind of questions you would be asked, nothing beyond that. So be prepared, being aware for articulation, make notes, try and put yourself into the interviewer's shoes, think what questions the interviewer may ask, so prepare yourself. And you as an interviewee, right, you have some questions, make a note of those questions, keep them prepared. So HR round is all about that. You can ask about your job profile. You can ask whatever questions that you have that you want to in the HR interview. Then comes a technical review round. We call it TR, technical review round. In a technical review round in TCS, it could be IT, it can be smart hiring, it can be the PPS hiring. Any of these hirings that you look at, they will get a little deeper into the subjects that you've studied. Or someone spoke about cloud. What do you know about cloud? They may get into that aspect of it. If you studied about cloud, if you're in computer science stream, they would ask about cloud. If it's about networking, they will talk to you about networking. Programming language, they will speak to you about programming language. And what do you know about the programming? They'll probably ask you to write some simple scripts if you know. Right? If you've done some certification, talk about that. That's a technical review round. The subject, they get a little deeper in. Again, remember, do not be in a haste. Use the Slusa technique. Stop, listen, understand, soothe yourself and answer. The Slusa technique for any question that is being asked. Don't be in a rush. I know there's a lot of tension could be there. Unexpected pressure might come in, like some of you all suddenly unknowingly you're unmuted, a lot of sound that came in from, and quickly you muted yourself, right? So situations like that can happen anywhere. Don't get panicked. It is a situation, things that are under your control, you can handle. Beyond your control, leave it, no problem. If there's a power cut, still fine. You can always go back, tell that person later saying that there was a power cut, can you please re-interview me, right? That's how you can do it, right? So that's a technical interview. Then comes the management review round. This is again a replica of your HR interview, but here they will review or cross check as to what was said in the HR interview and what was told in the technical interview on your side, you have said, and they will be evaluating you on that. That will what will happen in the management review round. Got it? Sorry. So that is what they will do in the management interview round or the management review round. So you complete all the 3 interviews, you're selected. Again, everything is online. You will not get calls. No messages will go to your professor, your placement head. Nobody, it doesn't go to anybody. Messages will directly come to you. So please check your email. For interview coordination also, when is the interview, what has happened about the interview, every information will be only passed on through email. So since the time you have registered for the National Qualifier test, every day, morning and evening, twice, please check your mails as well as your spam mail. So if you're selected, you will have a provisional letter offer released. The same place where you went and registered for the NQT, right? The NCP portal, they call it. That is where the provisional letter of offer would also get released. And you'll get a information on the same. Okay. So please keep these things in mind. The messages that I put down here, you can copy it and paste it onto a notepad or something in your mobile, or take a print screen of it, keep it so that you can refer to a later stage. This will help you to prepare yourself for an interview in TCS in specific. What I spoke in the beginning is about any interview process that you would want to be ready for. As I had already said, for you to face an interview or a TCS interview process, an NQT process, which is scheduled on 26 or multiple days, depending on what time you have registered, you will get those information, is that you need to have an internet connectivity. You need to have a laptop or a desktop with a webcam. I do understand some of you all do not have it. Your college is trying to help you out on those lines. I will also try to connect your placement head to the campus team of TCS so that they can find out a amicable solution, whatever it is possible. But for you, my dear friends, while they are trying to do that, check with your friends. Any of your friends who have a laptop or a desktop, request them. Can you spare me this particular laptop or desktop, or can I come to your home for that particular day and prepare myself for the interview? So please log on to the link which is being given to you for the NQT at least 45 minutes to an hour earlier. So when the test starts, you're all ready and you start going on. So do not go and log in at the last minute. At least minimum half an hour, 45 minutes earlier, please be there online and keep things ready. Once the test link is open, you can click and start taking the test, right? If you're not clear, you have a piece of pen, you have a piece of paper and pen, quickly working out any questions that you want to write down and then put it across, right? So that's it from my end, my dear friends. Thank you so much for being patient and being attentive and being very responsive while we had done this entire session of how to handle an interview and being prepared for National Qualifier test. Wishing you all the best. Be safe and stay active. Thank you. Over to you, sir.
Yes, thank you, sir. It was really a very eye-opening session, and definitely all the doubts of our students have been cleared by you. Means I don't think that any of the point has been missed by you, not even a single or not even a quarter one. So then also I will ask students, if anyone has a doubt, you can freely ask to Stephen sir, no doubt about that. So if any one of you have a query still, you can ask.
You're welcome, my dear friends. You're welcome.
So the responses in the chat box reveal that they have understood the session very well and there are no queries at all. So I will move towards the last part of the session, that is the vote of thanks. So it gives me an immense pleasure that I'm conveying the vote of thanks. And on behalf of Training and Placement Cell, Bajaj College Science Varda, and my own behalf, I'm thankful to our guest speakers, Sri Stephen Dinakaran, sir, who is Academic Interface Program at Human Resources Tata Consultancy Services Limited, Chennai, Tamil Nadu, and he has guided us so well, as well as shared his precious knowledge in this guidance session for job placements. Sir, I assure you our students have benefited by our guidance, no doubt about that. And also I owe a great thanks to Sri Sanjay Bhargav sir, who is chairmanship of Shiksha Mandal, Varda, Dr. Om Mohdaya sir, principal of our college, Dr. Mamta Chandrakar ma'am, the IQC coordinator, for their continuous guidance as well as support. I am also thankful to Dr. Parvez Saudagar sir, Dr. Dheeraj Naik sir, Dr. Saikat Biswas sir, and Dr. Akhil Nakhade sir for their all-time support for organizing the session. And I am much more thanks to the students of Bajaj College of Science Varda and GS Commerce Varda for attending this session. And due to them, this session has been a very smooth one, and a lot of responses have came, and it has been an interactive session. So I'm thankful to all my dear friends for the participation, presence, and maintaining decorum throughout the program. Thank you. Thank you all.
From my side, a lot of thanks to Dr. Maheshwari for very good conduct of a program, and very special thanks to Steve. Really, we are from my heart, I'm expressing my sincere gratitude to you for sharing your knowledge. Really means looking at you and your nature and the way you are interacting with our students. Really, we wish that most of our students should be placed and they should be your colleagues in future. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Dear pleasure, sir. Yeah. It's been a real pleasure, and I would love to have all our students who have attended. I think 155 of them joined in the beginning. It's come down to 113 now. Yeah. But yes, at least this number or more as much. There's a huge requirement. Requirement of demand specifically for fresh grads. That is the requirement at this point in time. We would love to have all of them. And happy note is that we have opportunities in TCS Nagpur itself, so they don't have to travel all the way across. They're going to stay pretty close by to their residences.
Yeah. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Dear students, you will have to wait for some time. We have some instructions to pass on to you. Yes, Maheshwari sir, do you want to give some instructions? Actually, the point is that we want to ask them about the availability of the laptops. Yes. And otherwise we are going to organize them. So students, you are requested to please share your difficulties or queries regarding the examinations. On 24th, that is on Monday, we would be having a mock test. So all of you have to participate in that test. All of you means the people who have applied for them, applied for the TCS test. And in future, we want that every one of you should respond to the advertisements which we are posting on various groups. We are actually taking a lot of efforts to reach to you, but it has been, I'm very sorry to mention, but very few of you are giving response to that. Remember, this is just an application. Joining and not joining and selection is little bit later processes, but we should not restrict ourselves from at least being the part of the competition. Let's see what is happening around us. People are getting selected and working at just 79 kilometers away from your town. It would be really a very great opportunity to you, because once this center is established in Nagpur, then you will have to move to other parts of the country, which may be difficult for you. So you can convince your parents that I wish to join TCS, and you can apply. Anytime you can call Dr. Maheshwari, you can call Dr. Vishwas, Dr. Akhil Nakhate, Dr. Dheeraj Naik, or any of the faculty members of our college. You can ask them anytime, even you, if you do not have any facility to apply for the test or apply for any recruitment, you please come to the college. We are ready to help you. Now I'm purposefully speaking in Hindi. मुझे हम लोगों को एक्चुअली आप लोगों से ये पता करना है कि किन किन लोगों के पास लैपटॉप्स, वेबकैम वाले लैपटॉप्स नहीं है. रिमेम्बर, बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट्स बोल रहे हैं कि ये मोबाइल पे से ऑनलाइन वगैरह एग्जाम हो जाएगा. और सबसे पहली बात कि हम लोगों ने कुछ भी गेस करने की आदत छोड़ना चाहिए. until and unless we have already posted the instructions, detailed instructions we have posted on a group. वो बहुत कम लोगों ने पढ़ा है. रिमेम्बर कि पढ़ना बहुत एसेंशियल है. अभी आपने देखा है अवेयरनेस, आर्टिकुलेशन एंड एम्प्लीफिकेशन के बारे में स्टीव हैज गाइडेड अस. सो वो लैपटॉप से या मोबाइल से आप लोग एग्जाम नहीं दे पाएंगे. आप लोगों को वेबकैम वाला मोबाइल से आप लोग नहीं दे पाएंगे, लैपटॉप को वेबकैम होना जरूरी है, उसमें कुछ मेमोरी स्पेस रहना जरूरी है, उसमें 5 Mbps का इंटरनेट का स्पीड रहना जरूरी है, एक एप्लीकेशन आप लोगों को डाउनलोड करना पड़ेगा। आई एम वेरी सॉरी बट the means which other peoples might have used in the examinations would not be applicable। वो आप लोगों के एग्जाम के वक्त मूवमेंट्स रिकॉर्ड करने वाले हैं, वो आप लोगों के आजू बाजू का यानी सराउंडिंग नॉइज रिकॉर्ड करने वाले हैं, और ऑन दैट बेसिस दे विल डिसाइड वेदर टू क्वालिफाई यू और नॉट। सो बिकॉज ये इंस्टीट्यूशंस के रेप्यूटेशन का, अपने मम्मी पापा के संस्कारों का भी सवाल है, उनके कल्चर का भी सवाल है, तो हम लोगों ने ये सारी चीजों को अवॉइड ही करना चाहिए। मीन्स आप लोग तो इतने अच्छे कॉलेज के स्टूडेंट है, हम लोगों ने इन सारी सड़ी गली चीजों में इंटरेस्ट नहीं रखना चाहिए। तो मेरी ये रिक्वेस्ट है आप लोगों से कि जिन जिन लोगों के पास वेबकैम वाले लैपटॉप्स या कंप्यूटर्स नहीं है या डेस्कटॉप्स नहीं है, वो आप आज दोपहर तक हम लोगों को हमारे ग्रुप पे या अपने आपके टीचर्स को भी बता दिया तो भी चलेगा, तो सो दैट वी आर ट्राइंग टू मेक द अरेंजमेंट। ओके, सो अब बताइए कौन कौन ऐसे लोग हैं अभी जो 105 लोग बचे हैं जिनके पास लैपटॉप का अरेंजमेंट नहीं है। वेरी नाइस, यू जस्ट रेज द हैंड। ये जो आप लोग हैंड रेज कर रहे हैं, ये वो लोग हैं जिनके पास लैपटॉप्स या वेबकैम वाले डेस्कटॉप नहीं है?
यस सर।
ओके ओके, don't hesitate, don't shy in admitting this, because this is a technical difficulty. It's not essential that everyone should have this. Okay, so 33 participants, can you put your name in the chat box so that we will find and we will copy it and we will try to contact you and we will communicate these things to you. Maheshwari sir, will it be possible for us to copy the chat?
Yes, sir. So
Yes,
we will
let them finish.
So we
See,
will have
after,
the TXT messages. When we convert it, when it will be saved, then we will have text file.
No, what I will suggest. Okay, then it will be text. No problem. उन्हीं लोगों को अपना नाम टाइप करना है जिन लोगों के पास लैपटॉप्स नहीं है। अगर आप लोग कुछ स्टूडेंट जीएस कॉलेज से है तो आप लोगों को लाभे मैम को वहां कांटेक्ट करना है, उनको प्लीज एक बार बताइए। अगर आप लोग बजाज कॉलेज ऑफ साइंस से है तो आप महेश्वरी सर को, सैकत विश्वास सर को, या फिर नकुल बरवट सर को, या मुझे कंप्यूटर साइंस में वसु सर या दुर्गे सर को, फिजिक्स में आप लोग एयरपुडे सर को या टिपले सर को, माइक्रोबायोलॉजी में आप लोग इंग्लिश सर को कांटेक्ट कर सकते हैं, जूलॉजी में आप लोग विश्वास सर को कांटेक्ट कर सकते हैं, देन बॉटनी में आप लोग महेश्वरी सर को कांटेक्ट कर सकते हैं, केमिस्ट्री में आप लोग बरवट सर, बनसिंगे सर को कांटेक्ट कर सकते हैं, मैथमेटिक्स में आप लोग या तो फिर वैसे भी मैथमेटिक्स वाले इधर दूसरे सब्जेक्ट्स में कवर हो ही गए हैं तो आप लोग वहां पे कांटेक्ट कर सकते हैं। अच्छा, ओके, प्लीज डोंट हेजिटेट। मींस मंडे तक हम लोगों को ये अरेंजमेंट करना है और मंडे को आप लोगों को यहाँ कॉलेज में आने के बाद दैट इंस्ट्रक्शंस वी विल गिव यू बाय टुमारो। आज हम लोग सारा अरेंजमेंट ये करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं और मंडे फिर आप लोगों को कॉलेज आके मॉक टेस्ट में यहाँ पार्टिसिपेट करना पड़ेगा। ओके, ऑल ऑफ यू हैव मेंशन्ड द नेम्स? यस, कोई रह गया है? ऐसा लग रहा है कि कोई रह गया है। So Maheshwari sir, can we copy the names of the students?
Yes, sir.
Have you done it?
Yes, sir. Just on it.
Okay. कोई रह गया है तो प्लीज लेट अस नो कि आप लोगों के पास नहीं है लैपटॉप या है.
Yes, sir. It is done.
ओके, इट इज डन. नाउ अब मैं दूसरा क्वेश्चन, नाउ जिन जिन लोगों ने हैंड रेज किए हैं दे कैन लोअर डाउन देयर हैंड्स. अब मेरा दूसरा क्वेश्चन ये है, कश्मीरी सतपुते, यू लोअर डाउन द हैंड. मेरा दूसरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि आप लोगों को जिन जिन लोगों ने टीसीएस को अप्लाई किया है उनको कितने लोगों को उनके मेल रिसीव हुए हैं, आपको टीसीएस से मेल आया. प्लीज रेज योर हैंड्स. आपको जैसे स्टीव सर ने बताया कि आपको स्पैम में भी चेक करना है. एंड ईमेल्स को बार बार डिलीट करने वगैरह की आदत आप लोगों को छोड़नी पड़ेगी. व्हाट्सएप के फोटोग्राफ्स और वीडियोस के लिए आप लोग ये यहाँ से अगर स्पेस क्रिएट कर रहे हैं तो ये आप लोगों के लिए बहुत बड़ा मतलब रिस्क रह सकता है. यू मे लूज योर जॉब. Only one student is saying that okay, 2. So आप लोगों को उन स्टूडेंट्स को हैंड रेज करना है जिनको टीसीएस से ईमेल आया हुआ है रिगार्डिंग टेस्ट और रिगार्डिंग मॉक. Only 2 participants. So have you tried to contact them on their helpline? So जिस पोर्टल से आप लोगों ने एनसीपी पोर्टल से आप लोगों ने रजिस्टर किया है वहां अगर हेल्पलाइन है तो आप प्लीज वहां से जाके उनको बोलिए कि यू हैव नॉट रिसीव्ड मेल. और मेक श्योर कि आप लोगों के मेल इनबॉक्स में नहीं जाके वो कहीं और गए होंगे शायद, तो उसको आप लोगों को वापस इनबॉक्स में लाना है. अच्छा, और क्या सर, महेश्वरी सर, क्या और हम लोग इन लोगों से कंफर्म करना चाह रहे हैं?
सर वो तो कवर हो ही गए अपने, लेकिन किसी किसी के प्रॉब्लम्स के जिनको मेल नहीं आया तो उन्होंने वहां पे कांटेक्ट करना जरूरी है. और एक और ये बात थी कि सर अभी जो एनक्यूटी टेस्ट होने वाली है वो फ्रेशर्स के लिए है. हाँ, तो कुछ जिन्होंने अप्लाई किया है लेकिन वो फ्रेश नहीं होंगे तो शायद उस वजह से
उनको दूसरे,
नहीं.
हाँ, वो उस वजह से है. हम लोग अभी जो टेस्ट है 24 को जो मॉक है, 24 जनवरी को और 26 जनवरी को जो टेस्ट है, मतलब 24 को मॉक और 26 को एनक्यूटी जो है, ये फ्रेशर्स जो लोग जिनका ईयर ऑफ पासिंग 2022 रहने वाला है, ये उन लोगों के लिए. तो आप लोगों को अगर मेल नहीं आए हैं, मतलब फ्रेशर्स को तो आना चाहिए जिन लोगों ने अप्लाई किया है, लेकिन रिमेंबर कि अगर आपने अप्लाई ही नहीं किया है तो आपको मेल नहीं आएंगे. इट इज नॉट द एक्टिविटी ऑफ द कॉलेज. आपको पहले अप्लाई करना जरूरी था और बाद में आप लोगों को उनसे ईमेल्स आने वाले थे. Okay, now next point, how many of you have responded to the Google form? उसमें जो एक गूगल फॉर्म का लिंक हम लोगों ने दिया था, वो गूगल फॉर्म में बहुत सारे लोगों ने उसमें गलत सलत बैच नंबर्स डाले हैं. तो वो भी एक दिक्कत हम लोगों के सामने है कि अब तक कैसे पहुंचना चाहिए, बट नो प्रॉब्लम. सो वंस अगेन आई रिक्वेस्ट ऑल ऑफ यू कि जिन जिन लोगों के पास लैपटॉप्स या वेबकैम वाले डेस्कटॉप्स नहीं है, वो जिन जिन लोगों के मैंने अभी टीचर्स के नाम बताए हैं, आप उनको प्लीज उनसे कांटेक्ट करिए सो दैट, और हम लोग हमारा जो आईसीटी है कॉलेज का कंप्यूटर डिपार्टमेंट के पास, वहाँ हम लोग आप लोगों को मॉक के लिए हम लोग कॉल आपको करेंगे. You just come before the time, well before the time. And दूसरा एक ये है कि please appear for the test. I request everyone to please appear for the test. Don't miss this opportunity. बाद में आपको ज्वाइन करने के लिए समय है, वो आप तब तक आप डिसाइड कर सकते हैं, बट प्लीज डोंट मिस दिस अपॉर्चुनिटी। वैसे ही जॉब्स के बहुत प्रॉब्लम्स हैं। फॉर्चुनेटली अगर नागपुर पैक हो गया टीसीएस का, 7,500 लोग ऑलरेडी वहां वर्क कर रहे हैं, अभी उनको और 6,000 लोगों की जरूरत है। अगर ये एक बार ये पैक हो गया ऑल ओवर इंडिया से, इवन वाराणसी से वगैरह भी उन लोगों के पास इस एग्जाम्स के लिए स्टूडेंट्स आने वाले हैं, तो एक बार पैक हो गया तो फिर आपको दूसरी लोकेशंस पे जाना पड़ेगा, जो कि और थोड़ा दिक्कत वाला हो सकता है। सो सर, आई हैव डन एवरीथिंग नाउ।
Yes, sir.
अब हम लोगों को बाकी आपको कुछ अगर पूछना है या उनको सजेस्ट करना है तो आप बता सकते हैं, अदरवाइज we will end the meeting and please ask them to be in touch with all of us.
सर मुझे सर मेल नहीं आया है, मैंने अप्लाई किया है सर।
आप कौन से साल का पासिंग है आपका?
2022
मतलब अभी आप कौन से सेमेस्टर में है?
6M में सर।
तो आपने गूगल फॉर्म भरा था क्या हमारा?
हाँ सर, गूगल फॉर्म भी भरा था।
तो आपने जो हेल्पलाइन नंबर है वहाँ आप एक बार, या आप कौन से
रजिस्ट्रेशन का सर, रजिस्ट्रेशन का
डू
मुझे
यू हैव द
आया है।
डू यू हैव द डीटी नंबर?
यस सर।
हाँ, तो वो डीटी नंबर मेंशन करके आपको जो आपके टीचर्स है, कंसर्न टीचर्स, आपका कौन सा बैच है?
F9 सर।
F9 मतलब आपको
बरवट सर।
अच्छा, बरवट सर से आप एक बार कांटेक्ट करिए। ओके
सर मुझे भी नहीं आया सर मेल।
हाँ, तो आपके ईमेल आईडी सही है? आपने उतने उसके टाइम में मोबाइल वगैरह तो नहीं चेंज कर दिया? हाँ, आपका कौन सा बैच है?
F7।
F7 मतलब आपको कौन सा टिपलेसर है क्या आपके इसमें?
हाँ सर।
हाँ, तो यू जस्ट कम्युनिकेट विद टिपलेसर, ही विल गाइड यू।
ओके सर।
और कौन कौन से स्टूडेंट्स हैं जिनको मेल नहीं आया है?
सर मुझे भी नहीं आया सर। सर मुझे भी नहीं आया।
तो फिर then see, actually Surkar, yesterday I have tried to call you multiple times on your WhatsApp and on your that number, but nobody responded. Okay. Okay, no problem. I will share one helpline number, and actually it is shared by Steve. It is 1800209311. 1800209311. So you can call on that number also, or I will also call them and I will also ask them that why you have not received the emails. Okay.
सर
So,
2021 बैच के लिए नहीं है क्या?
2021 बैच के लिए आप लोगों को बाद में आने वाला है। आपका जो टेस्ट है ये अभी वाला 26 जनवरी 24 जनवरी का मॉक टेस्ट और 26 जनवरी का जो टेस्ट है, that is only for the students of 2022 आप लोगों को।
पर सर अप्लाई किया है ना?
तो आपका आएगा ना बाद में, आपका वो टेस्ट, इनके कंटिन्यू टेस्ट रहते हैं वो बाद में आएंगे। आप लोगों का टेस्ट का ईमेल आपको आते हैं। डू यू हैव द डीटी नंबर?
यस।
आपने इसके पहले टेस्ट दिया था उनका टीसीएस का?
नहीं, फर्स्ट टाइम।
फर्स्ट टाइम है तो फिर 100% श्योरली आएंगे आप लोग। ओके,
अच्छा ठीक है, थैंक यू सर।
एक बात और बोलनी थी मुझे सर।
यस सर।
Those who have not yet applied, who are not have applied for the TCS, they can still apply for the April 2022 batch. That's what means their application has started and their closing date is 25th March 2022, and the exam will be in April.
So have we shared the details?
I will share the details there in the group. I will share, but the message.
ओके, नो प्रॉब्लम। सो सुना आप लोगों ने सभी ने कि और अपॉर्चुनिटीज आप लोगों के लिए है, प्लीज डोंट मिस दिस अपॉर्चुनिटी। मैं आप लोगों को बता नहीं सक रहा हूं कि अगर आप लोगों ने ये अपॉर्चुनिटी मिस कर दी नागपुर टीसीएस की, तो इट्स गोइंग टू बी वेरी हार्ड फॉर ऑल ऑफ यू, बिकॉज एक बार ये फिर अब कब उनके जॉब ओपनिंग्स रहेंगे और कब नहीं, मिहान को वो डेवलप कर रहे हैं बिकॉज ऑफ सम XYZ रीजंस, और फिर उनको एक बार उनके पूरे फैकल्टी, उनके पूरे एम्प्लॉयज अगर मिल गए तो फिर और ये स्कैरसिटी रह सकता है इसमें। ओके, सो व्हाट्स डॉक्टर महेश्वरी सर हैज सेड। यस Yes, yes, go ahead.
सर मुझे भी मेल नहीं आया सर, सिर्फ DT नंबर आया सर, बाकी कुछ नहीं।
तो आपका ईयर ऑफ पासिंग कौन सा है?
हेलो
हाँ, यू आर ऑडिबल। बोलो बोलो।
सर अभी 20 अभी की बैच है सर हम।
हाँ, आप कौन से बैच से हो? आपका बैच कौन सा है?
माइक्रोबायोलॉजी।
बैच नंबर है मास्किंग।
सर अभी याद नहीं है मैंने कौन सा डाला था तो।
यू आर इन फाइनल ईयर माय डियर। आपको ये देखना है ना कि आप F7 में है कि F4 में है कि F8 में है कि F11 में है कि F16 में है। यू शुड नो बाय दिस टाइम। और
सॉरी
ऐसे ही अगर आपने इग्नोरेंस करके ईमेल आईडी गलत डाल दिया होगा तो आपका नंबर किसी और को चले गया होगा।
नहीं सर, ईमेल आईडी बराबर है, 2 ईमेल आईडी थे मेरे, तो मैंने वही डाले हैं।
तो आपको जो बैच नंबर है वो टीचर से आपको कांटेक्ट करना पड़ेगा। माइक्रोबायोलॉजी है मतलब यू जस्ट कांटेक्ट विद इंग्लिश सर।
ओके सर।
ओके, और उनको बोलो कि आपको ईमेल नहीं आया है, वो फिर आगे बात करेंगे। या चैट बॉक्स में सम ऑफ द स्टूडेंट्स डन अ नाइस जॉब बाय पेस्टिंग अ नंबर 1800209311। यहाँ पे कॉल करके आप लोग उनको बता सकते हैं। ठीक है, आएगा। लेकिन अगर नहीं आया है तो आएगा, या फिर आप लोगों को दूसरी टेस्ट में शेड्यूल करेंगे। ऐसा भी हो सकता है कि दे माइट हैव शेड्यूल्ड half of the people on 26 January, remaining people they may be scheduling on some other date, so you may not have received the emails. That we will get confirmed. But अब आप लोग ये बोल रहे हैं, इतने दिन से हम लोगों ने WhatsApp पे इतना वो करके रखा है, nobody is posting anything there. Now क्योंकि हम आपको पूछ रहे हैं मेल आया है क्या, then you are saying you should have rather asked these things on in our WhatsApp group. You can post your queries there. Okay, no problem, we will solve this. Yes, anything else?
Sir, those who have logged in at the TCS NQT portal, first log in to your account, क्योंकि आपने लॉगिन करते टाइम अकाउंट बनाया होगा। यस, तो आप लॉगिन करके देख लो, उस पे आपको एक नोटिफिकेशन आ जाएगा कि आपकी टेस्ट कब।
एग्जैक्टली।
हाँ, तो वो भी एक ट्राई करके देखिए, जिनको मेल नहीं आया है लॉगिन करके देखिए।
और आपको कुछ भी दिक्कत है तो आप एनी टाइम यू कैन कॉल एनीबडी ऑफ आवर कॉलेज, देयर इज नो इशू। कोई आपको ऐसे नहीं, हाँ हो सकता है आप लोगों को अगर रिस्पॉन्ड नहीं किया तो आपको टाइम टेबल का शेड्यूल पता है अपने लेक्चर्स का, तो आप वो शेड्यूल के बाद कॉल करिए। किसी को भी 10:15 के बाद कॉल करिए। अगर 10:15 को नहीं उठा पाए तो आप 11:15 को कॉल करिए। 11:15 को भी नहीं उठा पाए आप 12:15 को कॉल करिए। मतलब आपको पता है ना कि 10:15 से अपने सारे लेक्चर्स रहते हैं 1-1 घंटे के, हो सकता है वो उसमें बिजी रहेंगे। एंड अगर वो नहीं उठा पाए, भूल गए, तो यू जस्ट सेंड देम अ मैसेज। ओके, बट सी कि हमारे यहाँ के सारे स्टूडेंट्स जिन लोगों ने अप्लाई किया है वो अब जैसा महेश्वरी सर ने आपको बताया कि जिन लोगों ने ये चांस मिस कर दिया है वो लोग भी आने वाले टेस्ट के लिए, जिसका सर बोल रहे हैं कि कुछ फरवरी या मार्च उसका लास्ट डेट है, 25th ऑफ मार्च, तो आप लोग वहां पे उसमें भी अप्लाई करिए। और हम जितने एडवर्टाइजमेंट्स आप लोगों को फॉरवर्ड कर रहे हैं, रिमेम्बर इसको पैसा वैसा तो कोई लगता नहीं है, तो यू जस्ट अप्लाई फॉर ऑल द टेस्ट। Yesterday we have sent some X variant और ऐसा कुछ तो भी हम लोगों ने एडवर्टाइजमेंट पेस्ट किया था। ये सब अलग अलग ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस है, तो हम लोग 25 अगर एडवर्टाइजमेंट्स आपको भेज रहे हैं तो आप लोगों ने 25 के 25 को भी अप्लाई करना चाहिए। ओके, सो एनीथिंग एल्स यू वांट टू क्लैरिफाई फ्रॉम आवर साइड?
यस
यस महेश
सर,
यस गो
जेव्हा
अहेड
कधी पण टीसीएस अगर नवीन कोणती हे हॅलो
हां बोल
यस सर, टीसीएस कधी पण नवीन जी हे काढते
हाँ वैकेंसीज, हाँ Kumbari, you are not audible to us. Maybe some network issue. Anybody else? Okay. So if you do not have any questions, then sir, shall we stop now?
Yes, sir.
Okay then. Thank you. Thanks to all of you. Yes, I am leaving the